Hi, I'm Tony from the Marathon Mates. With the Sydney Marathon due to be run in the next, in less than a week, it's time for the Marathon Mates to pack their bags and get ready to run what will be Australia's biggest marathon event. On this episode, we are going to discuss everything there is to know about the Sydney Marathon, from the Expo to the finish line. We've got you covered. We'll share our knowledge of the course and things you need to be mindful of when running the 7th World Major. And of course, we've been there and we've done that when it comes to running. We have the experience and the knowledge, as we are the only podcast with 4 6-star World Major Marathon medalists as co-hosts, and soon to be, fingers crossed, 7-star. This is the Flying Runr Podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Welcome to the thrilling world of the Flying Runr, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Flying Runr Podcast. I'm Tony from the Marathon Mates, and this is episode 111. On tonight's episode, we are packing our bags as we prepare ourselves to run the TCS Sydney Marathon presented by ASICS next weekend. We can't wait to share with you our knowledge and experience of this awesome running event, from the Expo to the finish line and everything in between. We've got you covered. Now, we're going to be talking all things Sydney as we share our knowledge and experience of what is now the 7th World Major. But before we do any of that, let's introduce my fellow marathon mates. We've got Tim, we've got Tara, and of course, we've got Lucia. It's always good to see you guys. It's getting pretty exciting. We can stop counting down the weeks, and now we're just counting down the days, I guess, from getting on a plane and making the trip away for another runcation. But before we get too excited, let's just have a little bit of a chat about how has your week been, and more importantly, how's the excitement level? So let's start at the ball rolling with Tim.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, no, excitement's getting there. I was saying to Tara the other day, I was feeling a little bit flat, I guess, towards this one. Yes, it's a World Marathon Major, but it probably doesn't have the same sense of excitement as it does of jumping on an aeroplane and traveling halfway across the world to a city that I've never been to or have been to, but are excited by. And I guess the excitement levels have gone up, and that's been good since they've released the book with all the details in it, the athlete's book, and then they've started releasing more information in recent days around the Expo and what to expect there, and then more and more over the last few days, the excitement levels got up, which is great. Training-wise, yeah, pretty good. Tara and I yesterday knocked over 30 Ks, which is fantastic. Our last training run, we're now in taper mode. We did park run as well, which was at Chermside. So we just did a park run there together, started off the first 3 Ks together running it, and then Tara said, off you go, Tim. And I put the afterburners on and negative split the park run. Came home in the last 2 kilometres at 4:51 and 4:41 pace. So felt good. Body feels good. The 30 Ks held up well. Really excited now to be getting on that plane in just a few days' time.
Excellent. And how are you feeling, Tara?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, actually. The training run yesterday gave me that 30 Ks that I needed in my legs. It was great. We got to see, there was another race actually on our training track, which was weird. But there was a lot of our friends doing that race. So everyone's like, why aren't you here doing this for a medal? And it's like, no, it's not far enough, because the furthest distance that they had was 21 Ks. But we stopped and had a good chat to them. So it was a nice break in the middle of our training run. And what else? And I've just been doing my normal bits and pieces during the week. So, yeah, nothing interesting. Lots of strength training, lots of stretching, lots of just maneuvering the body to make sure it stays fit and healthy for 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. Let's talk to our little influencer down there, Lucia, who's been influencing and being interviewed and doing all sorts of amazing things. Luch, how was your week?
Even though I didn't get the distance I wanted to on Saturday, so the plan went from being 30 Ks to then, not going to happen, then being 21 Ks, ended up at 16, but because I saw someone that I hadn't seen for a long time, so I chatted with her, I was gossiping with her for a bit. Then I was at Mr. Macquarie's chair taking some photos, sending it to friends, but I'm not disappointed that I didn't get the distance. It's the best the body has felt in a couple of weeks. So I was pretty damn happy with how it went. Then yesterday we had the last Sydney Marathon Run Club down at Barangaroo. So I think we knocked out another 12 Ks, which was good. So, yeah, the body is feeling, compared to how it has been feeling the past couple of weeks, really, really happy with how it went this week. But as you guys know, and as our listeners know, I have said this a few times, my race is going to be very different to everyone else's because I will be walking pretty much most of it. And then yesterday at the Run Club got some of my pacer kit. So very exciting to get all that. And yes, I did get a pair of shoes. Thank you very much, ASICS. Greatly appreciate it. So, can't wait to hit the road on there wearing the pacer singlet because yesterday was a special Run Club episode. Run Club, that's what I'm trying to think. Like Run Club event. So celebrating women in running, and I was asked to speak for a moment or two, and it actually featured on the TCS Marathon Instagram post. So it was, the amount of people I've had reach out to say how inspirational I am, and I get very taken back by that because I'm just a normal person doing something I like. But Tim, this will make you laugh. I showed my sister. She goes, "Why don't we get that Lucia here?"
Luch, it did look really cold.
It was freezing.
Yeah, the old Lucia was shuffling from side to side and warming the hands up, trying to keep herself warm. I had to have a laugh as well because you took the concept of the mini episode into when they asked you a question, Luch. I didn't think you were going to ever stop. So,
well, thank God we only had a time. We had very short time, but
I'd have been taking that microphone off you. I thought when the lady gave you the microphone, I said, "Oh no, here we go."
Here we go. And how long have they got? But when we move more into the episode, I'll tell you because I'll be speaking at the Expo as well.
All right, and in respect of Sharon and myself, you may pick up that my voice is a little different. I've sort of picked up the flu, which was really lovely. So working from home today, I was all rugged up and beanie on and trying to sweat it out. I walked on the weekend. I had a biopsy on something that's been on my leg for just far too long and had stitches put into where they sort of dig into it and pull stuff out. So the doc said I wasn't allowed to run, so I didn't run on the weekend. I just walked. So I'm pretty comfortable with, I think it's a 4-week taper going into Sydney this time around. I'm pretty comfy that I'll get it done. Sharon didn't have a great Saturday, but she had a much better Sunday, so she'll knock it over too. So that's the plan anyway. So really starting to, it's hard to believe it's almost there. So it's really cool. Anyway, thanks guys. But now let's keep moving forward. It's that time of the week where we talk about the news. Tim, what's been happening around the world this week?
Number one, thanks, Tony, was City to Surf, a classic event here in Australia, but mainly in Sydney. It's a 14-kilometer fun run that's held on. It was held on the 14th of August in freezing and wet conditions. I guess Sydney put on a real stunner of a day, didn't they, Lucia?
And if I can just add to that, because I believe it's the first time it's rained in history, because something they said on the news that a lot of people will get married on the day of the City to Surf because it never rains. And this year it was bucketing on and off literally the whole race. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't do it this year. Very, very glad.
So yes, the event itself, 90,000 participants take part in the run. It's 14 kilometres. It literally goes from the CBD in Sydney and runs along the harbour front there on the south side of the harbour all the way around to Bondi Beach. The winner this year on the female side was a lady called Bronte Oates, who's 20 years of age from Sydney. She came across the finish line in 45 minutes and 51 seconds for the 14Ks. And the male winner was a guy called Isaac Hain, who clocked 40 minutes and 33 seconds. And Isaac is 25 years old. He's from Adelaide, and it's the second year in a row that he has won the City to Surf. So well done to both Isaac and Bronte for doing those events and winning it. They raised about $3.5 million for charity, and there was about 600 charities that they were raising money for. So I know, Lucia, you're finding this event is just getting too big year after year. I know you've done it before, but you weren't going to do it this year because of the size of it. I know Tara and I haven't done it. Tony, have you done it before, the City to Surf?
No, never done it, but I wouldn't mind doing it. So it's on there, some sort of a bucket list there. It'd be nice to do it just to say you've done it. And just of interest around Isaac, the winner, he's the same Isaac that ran with the bib for Ballsy at the Gold Coast Half Marathon, where he, I think, came fourth this year, missed the podium by a little bit. So just a real gutsy runner. I think Isaac's got a real future. So, just a little bit of information you didn't really need to know.
Well, there you go. So thanks for that. Now, the second bit of news I've got is this week, the Chicago Marathon organisers have announced their elite fields for the October version of the Chicago Marathon this year. Defending champion John Correa and Valencia Marathon winner Mega to Alumo are among the elite entrants returning this year. Correa, who ran 2:02 last year, was also the second fastest time in the race's history. So he loves Chicago and loves running fast there. He has said that he is confident that he'll be able to retain his title. They all say this, don't they, at the announcements? He's confident he'll retain his title in October. He's the 8th fastest man in history. His training is going well, and he is focused on achieving another personal best. He will be joined by 6 other men who have broken 2:04, including Kenya's Timothy Kiplagat, who came second at last year's Tokyo Marathon. In the American men we always keep an eye on that. Connor Mance is leading the US contingent. He's keen to go out and break the US record on this course and the North American record as well. So hopefully we'll see some fast times there. In the women's side, as I said, Mega to Alumo is one of those who won the Valencia Marathon. She finished 3rd in Chicago in 2023, and she's looking to go fast again. She'll be joined by Ethiopian Fayesa, who is the Frankfurt Marathon champion. So I've got the list there, guys, of all the participants. There's some names there, but I must admit, when I look at the lists of the names, the fields are getting thinner and thinner as far as the number of elites that are in that elite component, I guess, at the very top of the field. And whether that's because this year we've got 7 majors and a world championship that all the elites are spreading themselves to try and get their best opportunity of winning. But I think it could be detrimental to the marathon and in general fast times across the world, with elites and particularly those at the very top of the elite cycle spreading themselves a bit thinner. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm wondering if it's because a lot of them are now coming into Sydney, because if you look at the Sydney elite field, it is really spectacular. And Sydney being the first year, I'm wondering if maybe perhaps that's why. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would
Yeah,
agree.
it could be.
Yeah, I would agree, because I think if Sydney didn't get some big names, it would not that it would lose credibility, but I think it needed really strong names in the first year to prove, do you know what? We are taking this seriously. So
yeah, they needed those draw cards to be brought in, and I think that's what Sydney has done, and that's a great way to promote Sydney as a first-time major. With the Chicago and Berlin coming up so close to Sydney, they can't all race back-to-back so fast. So they've chosen Sydney, I believe, they've chosen Sydney over the other ones.
Yeah, I think the field itself's a little bit lightweight, to be honest. So
no,
hey, guys,
I think guys, with these fields, they are going to be thinner, especially in that back end of the year. So you think now we've got in August, at end of August, we've got Sydney, then we've got Berlin in September, then we've got Chicago in October, and we've got New York in November. And throw on top of that, we've got the World Championships in Tokyo a week before Berlin as well. It's going to be jam-packed every year. And unfortunately, Chicago has had a reputation in the last few years of being a very fast track and setting world records at it. And I'm not disputing that Alimo in the females and John Corrals aren't draw cards. They are draw cards, but I don't see them as being those super elites that are going to draw huge crowds and maybe set a world record. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
No, I agree. Chicago is a very flat, fast course, as we all know. I think Sydney will be a bit more challenging for them as well. So they've definitely got the draw cards for the other races. I just think Sydney need it at the moment. Yep.
agreed.
Alrighty, well, that's the news this week, guys. So now we're going to start talking about the Sydney Marathon and what to expect from the Expo to the finish line. So as usual, we always start with the Expo when we talk about marathons and marathon weekends away. And who else to start with other than our Expo queen, Lucia? So Lucia, can you tell our listeners what they're likely to see and expect at the Expo? Where is it, firstly? What time and what days is it going to be on? And then what can they expect?
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, so as we know, I do love a good Expo. So the Expo this year is the same place as it was last year. For those people that did it last year, it's at the International Convention Centre at Darling Harbour, which is pretty much central of Sydney. So all depending where you're staying. So for instance, if you're staying on the if you're staying near the starting area, which is North Sydney, you can get a metro to the Gadigal station and then you can walk down, or if not, you can get a train to Town Hall, to Central, to walk down. There's a number of different ways to get there. So it is centrally located in Darling Harbour, and there's a number of food outlets if you want to have something to eat before you go in or out after. Side note, about maybe 100-metre walk, there's a really good gyoza place. It's called the Japanese Sports Bar. Love it. So the Expo will be open Thursday the 28th, Friday the 29th, and Saturday the 30th. So on Thursday, it will be 9 till 8. Friday will be 8 till 8. Saturday, it will be 9 till 4. And participants should have received an email over the weekend to indicate your preference time as to when you want to go pick up your bib. And the reason why they do that is for crowd control purposes. And something that we've said a number of times, you have to pick up your own bib. No one else can pick up your bib, because you'll have to show a QR code and ID, because gone are the days in which one person could pick up half a dozen bibs. It is a world major now, guys, so the rules do change. And it's also very important to note that you also have to pick up your finisher T-shirt at the Expo. You don't get it at the end. And if you want to do bag drop has to be done at the Expo. There's no bag drop facility available on race day, like many other majors as well. And so everyone that is doing Sydney, as I said, you should have received an email, and it actually does outline what you can and can't pack in your race, in your bag drop off. So please ensure you read that. So it's based from what I remember last year. The Expo this year, it's going to be a lot bigger. So it's on level 4 of the ICC, halls 6 and 7. There's going to be signage everywhere, and there's going to be people everywhere. So you won't get lost at all. The halls last year was only 1 hall. This year it's 2 halls. There's nearly 50 exhibitors. So I must
think there's
admit,
more than that now, actually, Lucia, because when you look at the map,
yeah,
there's 75 or 76 actually different stall holders.
And our good friends Travelling Fit will be there, so it'll be great to see Marimar and Michael. So a similar thing as to what other majors do. You pick up your bib and you do the timing chip check just to make sure. And then once you do that, obviously TCS are going to have their stand, Abbott World Major, and then there's going to be the stage which I'll be on. So I've been asked to speak on a panel on Thursday. I just remember the time, from 5:30 till 5:45, women's stories of resilience. So if anyone's at the Expo at that time, and if you want to hear me talk people's ear off, thank God there's going to be a moderator. So thank God I'll be kept to time. So really looking forward to sharing my message, because apparently people say I've got a good story. I don't know. So I must admit, I'm very much looking forward to the Expo, because there are a lot of brands. I'm like, okay, I want to go see them. I want to go see them. So it's interesting. There's a lot of other races there. Goldie's there, a number of international races. I think I saw Shanghai on the list. My eyes are a bit.
Yes, they are. They are
there.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see what is going to happen. And also on the guide, there's the what's happening each day in terms of the panel discussions. There's a number of panels about the course as well. So the head coach of the marathon, Ben Lucas, he'll be talking through the course and what to expect. There's a whole range of it. So definitely check it out, because they've put a lot of work into this. It's like Sydney is starting to feel like a major, and there's a lot of activations as well. So I'm very much looking forward to the Expo. I'll also be there again Friday morning for a bit, because I have to do one of my roles as pacer is we have to man the pacer stand. So you'll see us pacers with our flags sticking out the back of our head. So if anyone is thinking of running with a pacer, we'll be able to share more information as to what starting areas each one, like various paces, will be. So definitely come past and say hello. I'll be there from opening on Friday till I think about 1 o'clock.
Awesome.
So
and
very much.
The most important question about this Expo: can I get my hair done there? Can I get my roof done? And can I get a new bed? That's the things that are the most important things at any major Expo.
Tara, you're going to be disappointed. No. There's not even somewhere if you want to be a Navy SEAL. I know.
I'm very disappointed. This is what I go to the Expos for.
Lucky we don't have Navy SEALs in Australia, hey guys.
I think when you get the feedback, when you get the survey post this year's race, Tara, I think you definitely need to pop it on there. So it looks like it's going to be a very, very, very good Expo. So I can't wait to buy socks that I don't need, buy merchandise that I don't need. But if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, you know I'm going to buy it. So really, truth be told. So yeah, very much looking forward to the Expo. Hopefully see some of our listeners there Thursday night, or if not, Friday morning.
Lucia, have we got a glimpse of the jacket yet for Sydney? Have they posted anything around what the jacket looks like?
No, which is very surprising, because I went into the ASICS store on the weekend. I'm like, oh, maybe they've released it. Nothing. So I'm hoping they're keeping the suspense for the Expo, because the jacket that is released, it's just plain black, doesn't even have the year on it. So I'm hoping they've done one, because if they haven't done one, it's going to be an uproar like there is with Tokyo every year.
100%. And people only get more and more annoyed with the lack of quality in merchandise from ASICS if they don't show up here. But I have a feeling they'll show up.
Oh, the quality does look fantastic, and the singlets, a lot of the singlets, the t-shirts, it has an Indigenous print on it, which looks just absolutely amazing. So last night I was working out, okay, how much do I need to allocate for the Expo? And I've just given up already.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a great location. Knowing that part of Sydney, it's very accessible, as you say. A big hall, lots of exhibitors, lots of space there in the ASICS area for lots of merchandise and lots of people fighting for jackets and everything else. I'm hoping that it is a really good expo and it really sets up the weekend. And that's the thing people want. They want to be able to go there, and then it's the Kickstarter to a weekend of excitement, right? So you go to the expo, your nerves go up. If it's your first time doing it, you get even more nervous that your marathon's only a day or two away. So really excited to hear that. Now, speaking of excitement and speaking of how this all turns up, we then move into Saturday, don't we? And that's when we start to do things like shakeout runs and mini marathons. So Tara, what is the mini marathon all about in Sydney? And welcome back, by the way, Tony.
Thank you.
So the mini marathon, Tim and I are very excited to do this one. We normally do parkrun on a Saturday morning, as our listeners know. But we've opted out of parkrun to do the mini marathon, which we do before most majors. This is going to be a great little shakeout run. So it's held on the Saturday morning, and it's got a brand new course that they're running it on to, and it's going to soak up the predominant really good parts of Sydney as well. So it's really good. It's going to be a fun and accessible 5K course, and it's perfect for the first timers, families, and the kids. You're going to cross the same finish line as the world's best and sharing the stage with marathon legends such as Eliud Kipchoge. So that's going to be exciting. And you may as well just hang around and soak up the atmosphere, because it's going to be a bit of a festival atmosphere apparently. So make the most of a weekend. I think there's still some entries available. Am I correct, Lucia?
Correct. For the 5K mini marathon, yes. The 10K, which is marathon day, is sold out.
Excellent. No worries. So if you get a chance to, highly recommend it. The medal will be great. You're going to start at around about 7:30 in the morning, and the cut-off time to actually go past the start line is going to be 8:10. So you've got a fair bit of time there, about 40 minutes of, time to actually move through. You're going to start at Macquarie Street in Sydney, which is in the CBD, and the finish line is obviously at the Opera House. So that's going to be magnificent. So for those of you who can't do the marathon or want to get some fun finishing photos that you haven't just run the 42 Ks with, that would be the great time to do it. So that will be good. And you've got an hour and 10 minutes to do 5Ks. So most people can walk that at a fairly slow pace to be able to do that. So it is definitely an all-inclusive run. There won't be any drink stations. So just be aware that if you are doing that mini marathon, there are no drink stations on course this year. So if you feel you will need a drink, definitely take something with you. And at the finish line, however, you will be given refreshments. So you're all good with that.
And if I can just one more thing onto that, because part of the course you do miss Macquarie's chair, and there's one part that when you turn around and you come back up the incline, if you want a good photo opportunity of the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House, that's your point to get it. Because you can't, it's one of the most, I must admit, I did that Saturday, and it gets me every single time. I love it.
So that's after Macquarie's chair and coming back, is that right?
Correct. When you're coming back up just before you start the incline back up, it's right down the bottom of Miss Macquarie. I guarantee there's going to be hundreds of people taking photos.
Hundreds.
Legit, just looking at the course map, do we actually get down to Mrs. Macquarie's chair? Just looking at the map, because it looks like we actually turn around at the junction before you get down there.
Oops,
or maybe I'm wrong.
Sorry.
So the maps on the run sheet there.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, minor details.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like we missed Macquarie's chair.
Oh,
I'm really looking forward
surprises
to
me.
this 5K. We're just going to enjoy it, and Sharon and I will most likely walk it. So just to savor it in, might do a bit of a pose across the finish line. Who knows? But probably the biggest challenge for Sharon and I is to make sure we pick our bibs up Friday night, because we don't get in. I know you guys have already talked about this, but we don't get in until Friday night. So we need to pick up our bibs Friday night. So, but yeah, really looking forward to the 5K.
You know,
And Luke, are you doing the 5K?
I am. My sister, she's meant to be doing it with me, because I said, if I pay for you to do it, will you do it? How much training has she done? And diddly squat. And for the listeners that don't know, my sister and I are chalk and cheese. She's the most inactive person there is. And she, I don't think she realised even how early it starts, because for her, that is early. So I don't know if she'll do it, but I will definitely be there, guys. Just having a look at the map. Yeah, I thought it went all the way down, but the point where it cuts off, you should still get a nice view though.
Okay.
Or
Yes,
you
so-
wait till marathon day and get the photo that Lucia just talked about down at Macquarie's chair.
Yes. And
It is
also Saturday, have you guys got any other activities planned? I know Tim and I are doing a harbour cruise, a river harbour cruise for lunch, I think it is. So
we've got nothing planned at the moment, and the reality is that after the 5K, we'll probably, because I can just see Friday being rushed. So I think we'll go spend some time at the Expo and just get some merch and whatnot if we didn't manage to get it the night before. But that's really it for us, Luch.
For me, I don't know at this stage. I don't know if I've got any official duties to do, pacer or ambassador wise. If not, catching up with a friend that's in town, because I think that's going to be the only chance I'm going to get to see her. She's a Speedy Gonzalez, and just show her how to get from her hotel to the metro. So yeah, nothing too much for me. But yeah, Friday night I've got exciting stuff, but I don't know if I can reveal too much yet. We'll see.
But influencers have to influence, Luch. So I'd imagine you'll be out there somewhere along the line getting some selfie shots with the fans of the podcast, or doing the influencing that we all just love to do. But I would imagine with the amount of influencers that are talking about coming to Sydney and are in Sydney, apparently there will be no doubt a plethora of shakeout runs around the joint. So just keep your eye out for that.
Yeah. The other thing is on the Friday night at the Opera House, and I know Tara and I won't be there, and I'm not sure, Tony, you said you fly in late, but down at the Opera House on the Friday night, they're having a very special sort of welcome with the elite field and a ceremony there.
We'll be there for it.
Anything, you'll be there for it. So to me, that's got vibes of Berlin. When we went to Berlin and Brandenburg Gate, they had the just on the outside of the Brandenburg Gate, they had a Friday night special there where they introduced all the elites and the legends of the previous years to the crowd, and it just brought this hype to everybody. So if they can replicate something like that on the steps of the Opera House on the Friday night, it will be awesome. Unfortunately, Tara and I will be in North Sydney on the Terps that night with a few of our marathon mates, but it should be good down there on the steps of the Opera House.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting event. So as an ambassador, all the ambassadors got invited to attend. So when we saw the email, we're like, guys, check your emails. So yeah, very, very excited to be in a very fortunate position to be hopefully being able to meet the GOATs of the sport. So very, very excited.
Yeah, make sure you get lots and lots of photos. And if you
we
do
know
get
it.
a chance, put your microphone on and ask Mr. Kipchoge to do a bit of a plug for the Flying Runr Podcast. So
no human is limited. We come to run in peace. Everyone is here to have fun. He'll say the same things.
Yeah. and listen to the Flying Runr podcast, right? So this is going to bring us to Sunday then, okay? So this is race day. And for those people, there's probably people staying in many different parts of Sydney. But one of the things that I think Sydney does really, really well is the communication that they do give. And today came out there starting more communication on their social media around the starting and what it looks like. So, but Luch, as a local, you are the only local, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because Sydney's not the place where I would like to live, although I do have lots of my family that live in Sydney. So shout out to them. I know they're not listening. What is the best way to get to North Sydney?
So the best way is every recipient should have had an email, I think it was titled Start Your Journey, and you put in your confirmation details on there, and it gives you a step-by-step which train station you should get off at, which metro you should get off at. So check that. If you don't have it, please check your junk folder, or if not, if you still don't have it, if you go onto your race roster confirmation, get your confirmation number, get your confirmation details, because it will have which start group, which colour, which wave. So the two closest metro stations will be Victoria Cross and it will be Crow's Nest, so all depending which one. So both of them are within about maybe no more than a 10-minute walk. The exit at Victoria Cross does have a bit of an incline to get to the area, but the vibe last year on the metro was amazing. And so I know, like, I have to be there at the crack of dawn, unfortunately. But I know it will be busy. Just because everyone's in that mood. Like, I won't forget last year. So my journey to the start line last year, like, it was maybe half hour. And everyone was so excited that whole time because it had the feel of a major last year. So it's going to be very similar this year. So the best bit, not to confuse people, say, okay, this exit, get your confirmation number on the email that was sent the other day and put it in. And as I said, it will give you points. It will give you exact details. And the team have been doing an amazing job. James Constantine, who's the, I think, senior digital marketing manager for Pont 3, he's been doing videos. So some have been released, and no doubt there's going to be more being released. They've been really, really detailed. It will be easy to get there. It may seem overwhelming for some because a lot of the posts I've been seeing on different groups are, how do I get here? All the information's on the website, guys. It is really easy to get to.
Hey,
yeah, very much so.
Lucia, just looking at the starting groups there, so everyone's crowded into 3 different colours: red, green, orange. And within each of those, there's also sub cells, I guess, or sub corrals, A, B, and C, I think it is. Looking at the list there, it looks like red, green, and orange all start at the same time. Does that mean there's 3 separate starting lines, do you know, and that we all funnel together? Or how's that going to work?
Well, there's different starting areas, but in the end, you do go over the same start line. So not like London, where I think we came together after 5Ks. You literally just funnel into the one. You go into different areas and then you walk around, but you start literally over the same line, because some of the feedback last year was it took a while to get over the start line last year. So I think they've learnt from that and they've probably spread it out a bit more. And then just further onto that as well is if anyone's interested in running with a pacer, the pacers are going to be scattered, like all depending on the finish time, they will be scattered in the different starting areas as well. So the pacers will be at the Expo. So if anyone does want to run with the pacer, any questions, just drop by our stand at the Expo, and we'll be happy to answer any questions about running with a pacer.
Yeah. So all the starting areas are in that North Sydney Oval area, and they all just feed into the same starting line. So if you think about, I sort of likened it a little bit to, I know London's got separate starting lines and you all join up, but where we were, there was like different corrals at Greenwich, and they all fed into one straight line. So that's the way I sort of liken it. So so looking forward to that. You guys your accommodations in the city, correct?
Yeah, we're at Woolloomooloo.
Yeah, so you'll be jumping on the metro and getting off at
Crow's Nest.
Yeah, because we're staying in North Sydney, and as Lucia said, there is a number of hills that will get you through North Sydney. So a little bit of a walk warm up to get those up muscles, as Kane Mass calls them, going before the marathon. So
Now, just a quick side note, Tara and Tim, with the hotel you guys are staying at, about maybe 200 metres down, there's the iconic Harry's Cafe de Wheels. Great meat pies.
Already sussed it out, Lucia.
tips from a local.
My food guide for Sydney.
Yeah, tips from a local. So, Luch, it was overall, I think the course is net downhill, but a lot of people are certainly worried about the hills, and it's really interesting to see the international competitors that are coming worried about the hills. I mean, we worry when we go to Boston, and people are saying this is quite worse than Boston. I can't necessarily, when I think back to last year, there was some, I think I called them steady rises. There was no sort of hills that I looked at and thought, my God, how am I going to get up that?
Yeah.
Although there probably was. But I'm going to pass over to Tim, because Tim is our expert on describing the course. And even though he hasn't run this one, if we get any errors, Luch, I've got no doubt that we can pick him up along the way. So Tim, let's go through the course.
Well, yeah, so you talk about the elevation on the course. So I had a bit of research. There is a total of 313 metres of elevation gained across the whole course, and a total of 396 metres of elevation loss. So it is a net loss course. So it is net downhill the whole way. And that's important to realise. So when you think about it, North Sydney sits higher than the Harbour Bridge. You run down from North Sydney to the Harbour Bridge, and you finish pretty much at water level on the in front of the Opera House. So net distance is downhill. The good thing is the first 4 or 5 kilometres is pretty much straight downhill. You start at North Sydney, you run down Miller Street, you move across onto the Pacific Highway, which funnels you straight on to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And you'll run over the Harbour Bridge within the first sort of 3 Ks of running the event. And that is going to be an iconic spot. For some people who've got the early start, that will be a beautiful view of the sun coming up through the heads of the harbour as you look out over to your left-hand side, and some stunning views as the sun's coming up. For those at the back of the pack like us who are starting a bit later, yes, the sun will be still up, but it will be stunning views from there. Blue skies, blue water, fingers crossed.
And Tim,
From
sorry,
there, yep.
Sorry, if I could just add one more thing. I think one thing that people need to be careful of when you come down the start, it is downhill at first. So don't go too fast down, because then running over the bridge ain't flat.
No, it's got to rise.
Yeah, so
It does have to rise.
Yeah, so just want our listeners to be aware, don't go too speedy down the hill, and when you start running down, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying, because then you need to ease into it for the bridge. And also another good photo opportunity as well on the bridge.
Yep. And as you come off the bridge, you'll continue going straight down towards Darling Harbour, which is where the ICC is, which is the convention centre, where the Expo is held. You'll run sort of adjacent to that, and that's where you'll hit about the first 5K mark. From there, about half a K later, you'll have your first water stop as you then do a loop around Darling Harbour area before then coming back around towards the ICC and then heading north through what they call Barangaroo. From there, you'll funnel your way underneath the Harbour Bridge. So you go from quite an elevated area up to right down to water level there, running along the harbour underneath the Harbour Bridge. You do a little bit of a snake through Circular Quay and the Rocks area, which is the historic part of Sydney. before you do a quick couple of up and downs through the CBD area there around Hyde Park. And then you start the big, long migration out towards the south, through towards Kensington and beyond. There is a little dog leg in the course there at about, what would that be? That'd be about 17, 18 kilometres. And then you keep going where you turn around before coming back towards Kensington and then towards Centennial Park, where, as per last year, you do a full loop of Centennial Park, a single loop of Centennial Park. You'll run past the Sydney Cricket Ground and the Sydney Football Stadium, or whatever they call it now, Allianz Stadium, which is now it's all getting ripped up again because they don't know how to build stuff in New South Wales. So no wonder they've got a crap footy team down there in the Origin. But anyway, so you'll do a couple of loops out and back through Centennial Park, around through Centennial Park, back past the football stadiums in Randwick, and then straight back down along the same course you've come. And then that's when you do your famous Mrs. Macquarie's Chair, down the hill towards Mrs. Macquarie's Chair, do a loop around there, and then it's a fairly steep rise up Mrs. Macquarie's Chair for a kilometre or two, and then you do your famous right-hand turn. I'm calling it the famous right-hand turn right now, where you do your right-hand turn at the top there, and then it is straight down. What's that street? That's Macquarie Street at that point,
Correct.
down towards the finish line. And it is a downhill finish all the way to finish in front of the Sydney Opera House and the spectacular view of the Harbour Bridge off to your left-hand side, Opera House in front of you, and blue water and blue skies all around. And that's what the course is going to be like.
And in one of the parts they've taken out, which thank God they've taken it out. So previous years when you used to come out of Centennial Park, down Driver Avenue, past both of the stadiums, you turn right up to Moore Park Road. It was probably the most useless part of the course because you'd keep going up. You think, when are you going to turn to come back down? So thank God that part of the course is gone. So the improvements they've made this year, there's rumours that this could potentially be the permanent course.
Yeah. It looks like it might be. Yeah.
You described that really well. For someone that didn't run the course, you did really, really well. And I am so glad they got rid of that dog leg as you came out of Centennial Park. That was a horror. That was a horror show, and I really did not like that. I like that famous right turn heading towards the Opera House. Let's make that a part of the vernacular when it comes to talking about the Sydney Marathon. But surprisingly, like, one of the things that I'll give a tip on is don't stop at the first toilet if you don't have to, right? So, because last year we lost probably 8 minutes because I had to go do wheeze, right? And it was about the 5K mark. And I would suggest to everyone, there are plenty of urinals in the start area. And in fact, last year they had men's urinals. So it was just, I was in heaven because, any marathon start village should always have men urinals. But even then, I still stuffed it up. And 5K in, I had to go to the loo. And it cost me probably 8 minutes waiting because I think there was only 1 or 3 loos there. And there would have been 20 runners all who misjudged their hydration. So just a little bit of a tip.
Yeah.
And just that's intriguing that the first water stop is not until you've passed 5K in the race.
Correct. Yeah. So talking of portaloos, firstly, all the portaloos are at each of the drink stations. The first drink station is about 5.5 Ks into the race, and then every 2.5 Ks thereabouts. So they say electrolytes are located at the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 and 40K drink stations. They're indicated with a sign that says W+. Now, I'm not sure what the electrolyte is on course. I'm presuming it's Powerade.
It's Powerade Mountain Blast.
Yes, and the reason why it's the Blue Mountain Blast, because apparently that's the only one that Powerade do in a powder form.
Okay, so
There
we're
you go.
allowed to take our own hydration vests on this course. So guess what
Correct.
I'll be doing?
You haven't trained with Powerade, so there you go.
I'm
So
not taking any risks.
yeah, so electrolyte will be provided every 5 kilometers at the 5 kilometer marks, and every 2.5 Ks in between will be a water station. So water's every 2.5 Ks after that first 5 Ks. In addition to that, they're going to have GU gels or GU gels at the 20 and 30K drink stations as well. And they'll be marked with an E icon on the station as well. So for people who are from overseas, they're probably not familiar maybe as much with Powerade or with GU, maybe not have trained with it. So just be mindful of what it might do to your stomach. And also be worried about that Sydney water. It's horrible tasting water. But anyway.
Sydney's popping it today, isn't it? Oh.
But it should be fine. The other one is the course cutoff. So Lucia, it is 7 hours from when the last group starts. The last group starts at 7:51. So it's really 3:15 cutoff or something thereabouts, I think it is,
Correct.
isn't it?
Yeah, so we'll be so I was talking with some good friends of the podcast yesterday, Stephen and Kim Tulchman, saw them at the Run Club. So Stephen's one of the good sweepers along with me and 2 others, and then we've got John the bad cop, who's one of the nicest bad cops you'll ever find. So our role is going to be just ensuring people are ahead of the cutoffs, or if not, telling them, look, you're here now, this is where you have to be. So leave the decision up to you. And there's going to be a few redirection points, a few points where people will be put on a bus if they don't need it. But yeah, it's 7 hours from when John crosses the start line. So I think the start line cuts off 8:15. So he'll probably cross at 8 minutes. So 8 a.m. 8:14:59, something like that.
Yeah. And kudos to Sydney, because they are the only major that actually tells you when the start line is cut off. So 8:15 is the start line cutoff, and of course 3:15 is the finish line cutoff, which gives you 7 hours. So for everyone internationally that is worried about the cutoff, you get 7 hours, and I think that is absolutely very clear and clean cut. And congratulations to Sydney for doing that. So
at the end of the marathon, once you cross the finish line, they have created a walk-off area there for athletes now, and it's 600 meters long, and they're using it as a cool-down recovery. I can't believe the language they've used around this. We really know it's about funneling people away from the Opera House and into the Botanic Gardens to give everyone a bit more space in that area. But it's a good idea to have a 600-meter walk-off. Boston has a big, long walk-off. New York has a big, long walk-off. Even London has a big, long walk-off, and it helps just move people and keep them moving beyond the finish line. So hopefully this year you'll see a little bit less crowding around that finish line area, and more people moving through to the Botanic Gardens to get their bag of goodies that they get at the end, and all their gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was quite lax last year at the finish line, and I think, as I shared, I waited 20 minutes and I just pretty much stood at the finish line waiting for Sharon. So,
Quick question: do we get those mylar blankets at the end if it's cold enough?
Nothing's been said, so I would go with no. So if you do want something warm at the end, I would highly recommend packing something in a bag drop and having it with you. The past couple of years, even last year when it was windy they didn't have anything. So yeah, I haven't seen any communication, haven't heard anything. So I'd play on the side of caution and say no, nothing will be provided.
Thank you.
Tara, we've only got about 400 meters after we exit the finish chute to our hotel anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's more for our listeners, Timothy.
Yeah. Let's hope that they do, Lucia, because that was a big glaring error. That was one area they missed at the finish line.
Yeah.
And just having an apple and a warm bit of electrolyte is not what I would call a goodie bag. So let's hope that they've addressed that. So let's talk about the finish Finish a beer. Tim just wants a beer. All right, finish the medal. So I think it was confirmed today. Who wants to describe the finisher medal? Luch, because you're the Sydney influencer. Your thoughts on the medal?
Pictures had been circulating a couple of weeks back, and I'm like, nah, surely that can't be it, because it looked like a bottle opener, truth be told. The picture wasn't the best quality that I saw a few weeks ago, but with the reveal they've done and the music they've done it to as well, the medal looks stunning. Tim, stop pulling that face.
Because not the music. I like the medal. I didn't like the music. It should have been Olivia Newton-John singing "You're the One That I Want."
As Jesus. Tim shows his age.
It is a stunning medal. I'm going to say when I have it around my neck, it's going to be up there as on par with the 6-star medal and Boston in terms of the beauty of it, because it's very unique. It's like someone's taken a bite out of the bottom of it, and it looks like the Opera House. I think they've kept it very simple.
I agree. I think once again, my first thoughts was very much like you. My God, it's a bit underwhelming, but when you think about it, and you think about the iconic status that's included within the medal, I just think Sydney once again have done an awesome job. So, but let's just hope they've got those wraparound things at the finish line, a good goodie bag, and then I'll be singing their praises. Hey, all right. So that's the course. That's the medal. We have done really, really well. So let's talk about what are we doing afterwards. So, Luch, I'm not going to go to you first. I'm going to go to Tim and Tara, because I get a feeling most of our listeners will know what they're going to be doing afterwards. So, Tara, what are you doing after the marathon?
I thought I'd just go home and sleep. Isn't that what we normally do? There might be a couple of drinks involved with some good friends at some celebrations afterwards. So, yes, that will be fun. We'll be doing what we normally do, going back to the hotel, showering, and then disappearing for some food and some drinks straight away. Yep.
And I'm hoping to be joining you at that same celebratory function, and our good friends at Travelling Fit are putting that one on, of course. So, Tim, anything else that you're doing other than just having a drink and showing your medal off to everyone that cares?
Well, we'll do other things while we're in Sydney. So in the following days, we'll go off to the zoo at Taronga. We haven't never been there before, despite the many times we've been to Sydney. We'll go and spend some time at Manly. Again, never been to Manly. So we'll go over there and have a look at Manly. And then we're going to spend a couple of days up in the Blue Mountains. And again, somewhere Tara and I have never been. So have a nice quiet time up there, do a park run up there, and then sort of fly out on the Saturday after the marathon back to Brisbane. But yeah, we'll look to catch up with as many friends as we can while we're out and about down in Sydney. We'll try and jam as much as we possibly can. There'll be lots of socialising, there'll be lots of drinking, there'll be lots of eating, lots of walking on our feet every day. All the usual things that we would do if we were overseas or somewhere else. But obviously this one, there'll be lots more people around, so that we'll be trying to catch up with. So yeah, that's us. Does it feel different to you, Lucia, being in your own backyard and not doing the whole getting on an aeroplane and traveling and staying in hotel for a major event?
Oh, I'm loving it, because this is the cheapest major ever for me. Absolutely loving it.
What else? You don't have to pay excess baggage for all your Expo purchases. You can just take them home as you buy them and then go back the next day and buy more.
Well, certainly I am doing that over 2 days. I think the feel of the city and the vibe, like today I saw some of the street signs up with our mate Kipchoge and his son on there. So it's starting to feel more like a major. Yeah, would I've liked to have gone through an airport, having to go through customs and all that, but I get to show my city for once. So I'm not disappointed that I'm not staying in a hotel like I normally do. I can go home and go to my own bed.
Now, are you coming with us to celebrations on Sunday night?
I've got a pacer celebration straight after the race, so all depending what time I finish there, then go home and get changed. But yeah, I should be there at some point because then I was smart. I've taken Monday. Well, I've taken a few days off next week. I've got a dentist appointment 8:30 Monday morning.
Oh, that is smart. That is smart. At least it'll take your mind off the pain because there'll be some new pain coming your way. So guys, one of the big things that I'm excited about is that we've been talking about Sydney now for in excess of 12 months, and we're finally here. We're finally days away from running our 7th World Major. Good luck to all 3 of you. And of course, I'm wishing myself luck as well that we get through and we do grab what is predominantly a bit of an honorary measure of being a 7-star medalist after Sydney. But I'm really, really excited and I cannot wait to catch up with everyone down there in Sydney. So now, before we move on to what is rapidly becoming the third favourite part of our tip segment, if I remember rightly. So Tara was the best last week, based on what Tara said, and the week before was Lucia. And then, of course, the most common one that we do is Tim's tip. But before we do, I did threaten that we would have a little bit of a intro segment. So for everyone listening, this is the very first segment where Tim has his own intro.
Senses lace up tight, real snug. Feel the ground like a friendly hug. Run past worries, leave them behind. Chase the wind, see what you find. Tim's tip, just keep your pace. No need to win, no need to race. Feel the earth, feel the sky. Tim's tips, let's just give it a try.
All right, so that seemed a hell of a lot longer than 15 seconds, but believe me, that was 15 seconds. So Tim, what's your tip for the week?
Alrighty, my tip is for those who are either running their very first marathon or running their very first World Marathon Major this week when we come to Sydney. So my first tip is everyone who is doing these World Marathon Majors, embrace the nerves. It is a big event. It is a big deal, these World Marathon Majors. They are so much different than any of the other races you've ever raced in before. Don't go out too fast too early. The nerves will be trying to push you along, especially with a nice long downhill towards the Harbour Bridge. You'll feel good. You'll feel like you're bulletproof and you'll want to take off too quickly. But please slow it down. Stick to your plan. Don't get swept up by the crowd, the emotions, or other runners. Remember, time is going to get away from you. Before you realize it, you'll be at 45 minutes, an hour, and you may have forgotten to take your fuel. So please set your alarms on your watches if you have to, or write on your hand the times when you need to take your fuel so that you remember to take it, because it is something that will slip by pretty quickly. And the other thing is just enjoy it. It is a major marathon. It might be your first marathon. Don't worry about the times. Just go out there, have a lot of fun, enjoy running with 39,000 other runners and a couple of 100,000 supporters cheering you on from the sidelines. Finish lines, not finish times, as Tara says. Just go out there and embrace it, because it is going to be a super awesome day. And, control the things you can control and let everything else just be whatever it is. And that's my tip for the week.
That's awesome. So thanks, Tim. That the episode is about to end, but before we do that, Tara, I'm going to pass to you. What's happening next week?
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. So next week we are going to embrace the world of naked running. Now, no, I don't mean running without clothes on. I mean running where you run without technology. So over the years, we've all become so accustomed to wearing our satellite watches and having music playing. And how would it feel for us to run naked? So that's what our topic is going to be next week. It's a bit of a foreign concept to most of us. So next week, we're going to talk all about the world of naked running and discuss whether it or not it is for us. Now, I know Tim is going to be doing it this week to trial it all for us. without a Garmin. So he is going to actually be a pro at this by our discussion next week. I know personally I like to have my watch and my music, but we're all up to our own. So as we keep saying, we're the only podcast with 4 6-star world major medalists, and we can't wait to have a little bit of fun with next week's episode. As usual, will be another episode not to be missed.
Naked running.
Be
Okay.
a quick episode.
Thanks, Tara. That's it for this week's show. As usual, guys, a lot of fun, and I can't wait to catch up with you all and any of our listeners that say g'day down in Sydney in the next week or so. No doubt, while we're in Sydney, we'll do a couple of Facebook Lives just to check in with people and sharing our experiences along the way. We love making this podcast. I did a quick check just recently, and we now have a ranking in Kenya, of all places, as well as multitudes of other countries. I find it incredibly hard to believe that anyone in Kenya is listening to us, but they are. So
Mr. Kipchoge.
potentially there's your way in, Lucia. When you meet the great man, you say, I hear we're number 195 in Kenya. So had a lot of fun and can't wait to see you all. So we love making this podcast for you. Let us know what you think. Message us on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com. And if you've got any running tips or questions, let us know. We love sharing those questions or any of the feedback that we receive on the podcast. So you can watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, and you can listen in wherever you listen in, but mainly on Apple, Amazon, and all major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we will see you next time on The Flying Runner. Happy running.
Happy running.
Happy run.